If at all you have any doubts, you can ask me in the chat. Okay, so you can post me in the chat, I'll reply. Okay. So we'll be starting with level 1 in level 3. Okay, so as usual, you can go to the menu and choose the levels. Okay, I'll be starting with level 1. Okay. So yes, the guidance will be there as usual. Okay, so you can use it. So here in level 2, we are going to directly start with using the variables. Okay, so you can see that here we have to, the Dave has to go and get the item by using the variable. It is mentioned here. Okay, so how will you find the find the difference between Dave and the item? It is, good evening, everyone. I can see that many people are texting me. It's okay. So we'll start with the session. Okay, so we have to find the difference. Okay, so D is equal to, declare a variable. You would have known what is a variable. Variable is a container that can store the numbers, right? So we have to find out how many steps, and the method is to get the number of steps by using the points or the coordinates of the item and the Dave. Okay, so when you place your mouse pointer on the item, you can see items x-axis and y-axis, and again you can see Dave's x-axis and y-axis on the item. Sorry, when you place the mouse pointer on Dave. Okay, so I'm going to declare a variable D. D is equal to item of x minus Dave x. This is nothing but the difference between the place where the item is placed and where Dave is. Okay, this gives nothing but your number of steps that Dave has to take to reach the item, right? Exactly, Aryan has said that item x by Dave x. Yes. Okay, so you have to subtract it. Okay, so make sure you're not making any mistakes while declaring these variables and typing the name of the character. Okay, always, while in the hackathon we'll be very fast, so we'll be using capitals and small letters. Sometimes we'll type everything in small letters. Don't do that mistake. Okay, item of x dot Dave, minus Dave dot x. Okay, so this gives the number of steps. Then we can type Dave dot step B. Okay, so this makes Dave to reach the item. Let me run. Okay, so we'll continue for the next level. Okay, when calculating the distance, you must always pay attention to the size of the coordinates. Okay, because why we say this is the larger the number, the you would have like, if at all you give item dot x minus Dave dot x, then you get a negative number, then spaceship might move backwards, right? So you should not make any mistakes. The value of the variable should always be greater than 0, and you should give the values accordingly. Okay, so why we are introducing this variable for calculating the distance between the Dave and item? Okay, in some cases we will not know we will not be having the option of the grid. In that cases, you don't know how to calculate it. Okay, in such cases this is very useful. Okay, so when you place the pointer here, you know that item x is x11 y15, right? And similarly here, Dave's x-axis is 16 and y is 15. So both are in the same y-axis but different x-axis. Dave's x is greater than item's x. So you have to put Dave's x as in the initial thing, and then you can put items x. Okay, so now you will calculate the distance by giving the formula Dave dot x minus item dot x, and then pass this into spaceship dot step 2. Okay, so let me run. Yes, I can see that Danish Reddy is replying. So you use the variable s. Good. No issues. You can have the variable name as anything. It is of your wish, because variable name is just a name that we declare. Okay. Next, we'll have an example in the y-axis. Okay. So now Dev is placed in x0, y0, and item is placed in x0 and y8. Okay. So you can see item's y-axis is greater than Dev's y-axis. Okay. So what should we do? Because always distance or the variable name, variable value should be greater than 0. Okay. So D is equal to item dot y minus Dev dot y. If you put like this, then we get a positive number, that is 8 here. Yes. Y is 8. 8 minus 0 is 8. So we'll pass the variable inside the brackets of dev.step command. Okay. Once you do this, this will be working. Okay. So let's run. Next level. So here slightly complicated level where we can try to use our for loop statements. Okay. So you can see that there are 4 grids here, 4 solid grids here, and they was placed on the spaceship where each grid is placed at a distance of 2 steps, right? Okay. And you can see there are 4 solid tiles. Okay. So you can use a for loop for I in the range 4. Okay. And you can see that spaceship is moving 2 steps, right? Every time it is moving only 2 steps. So for I in the range of 4, spaceship dot step 2. Okay. So how do you use the variable here? Okay. You can see the items are placed in different places inside the grids or the maps here. Okay. So it is not possible to give one single step. For example, they have step 1 and they have step -1 to get back on the spaceship. It is not possible. You should give the numbers exactly each and every time. Okay, so that will become complicated because you are going to write lots of lines of codes. Yes. Okay, for avoiding this, we are using this distance calculation method. Okay, you can first observe the coordinates of the items because you need a D that is greater than 0. Okay, so you can see x is 2, y is 8, x is 3, y is 6, x is 6 and y is 4, x is 5 and y is 2. Okay, you can see that their x-axis and the item's x-axis is different, right? So for that, what we are doing is we are declaring a variable D is equal to item of I always. Okay, why? Because item of 0, item of 1, item of 2 and item of 3 is named. Okay, so let's name it as item of I dot x. Okay, minus Dev dot x. Okay, so now it will give the number of steps that Dev has to take in order to reach the item. Okay, so now you have to give Dev dot step D. Again, Dev has to get back on the spaceship and continue its mission. So our next line will be Dev dot step -3. Okay, good. I can see some of you have solved this already. Let me run. If anybody is having any queries, you can ask me in the chat box. Okay. Good. Let's continue. So this is how you first, always when you get level with multiple lanes inside it, then always turn on the grid first if the grid option is enabled. Okay, and then you can observe how it is repeating. Okay, once you find out how it is repeating, you can actually start coding it. Okay, so I usually do that because I observe the grid first and then I finally find how it is repeating, how many times it is repeating, and then I start code. Okay, so here the number of items of 4. Okay, so Dev has to go and collect four items. I'm using for I in the range of 4. Okay, so similar to your last program, but here there is one difference, because you can see that the items are placed in the difference of y-axis, not the x-axis. Okay, so items y-axis and Dev's y-axis are differing. Okay, and you can observe that here, right? So let's put D is equal to item of I dot y minus Dev dot y. Here, some of you would have the a question as, ma'am, why should we put items y dot y, sorry, items I, item of I dot y initially, but not Dev dot y, because Dev's y-axis is higher, right? So you can see that the panes are opposite inside. Okay, so Dev is facing this way, and Dev's head, red ball is the backside, and it is facing the other way. Okay, so Dev has to move backward first and then come forward, right? So I'm using items y minus Dev y. Okay, so it will go like this and come back. Okay, so initially we will have the difference as -4. So if we put Dev dot step D, then it means Dev dot step -4. So obviously they will go backward and get the first item and come back. Okay, and on this plane it is y13 and they will be here. Okay, y10. So the difference is 10. Okay, so it will go forward and come back. Okay, for this only we are using item of I dot y minus Dev dot y. The difference and the numbers inside the variable, inside the step command will depend completely on the movements of Dev or direction of Dev. Okay, so you have to observe the direction first and then you can code. Okay, so yes, those who have got 2 stars, you can see this. Okay, please note down the codes. Let me increase the speed by 2. Okay, good. Hope this is clear. Yes, Dan is ready. You have some question? You can put it in the chat. Okay. Okay. Good. So this is another level, level 6. Here, as usual, we have to first find out the number of times that the code has to repeat. Okay. So is there even x-axis also? Yes, Danish. X-axis is like the Dev is moving in middle. Okay, and the difference between items y and Dev's y is the number of steps that Dev has to walk. Okay, in that level. Here you can see that Dev collects these items that are there in the straight line, which is nothing but there is a difference in the x-axis, right? And but here also the steps are different in the y-axis. Okay, since you can observe that items y-axis is different than Dev's y-axis. Okay, so how you can find whether the difference is x or y? Okay, you can always use this as the identification. Can you see the y line and the x line? Okay, so if Dev and item are placed like this, okay, in this direction, then you can obviously choose dot y. Okay, then only you can calculate the number of steps correctly. Okay, if the item and Dev are placed in this manner, then there is a difference in the x-axis. Okay, always use this as the difference. Hope this answers your question. Good, you got 3 stars. Okay, so let's continue. So here we have 5 items. Okay. So for I in the range of 5. Okay. How many times the spaceship has to move? How many steps? It is 3 steps every time. Okay. So 3 steps, and now there is a new command. Okay. You can see that the pattern is not repeating at all. Right. For the first 3 steps, there is no item in the y direction. And the next 3 steps, there is an item in the y direction. And again, there is no item in the y direction, and there is an item in the y direction. And again, there should not be any item in the y direction, but there is an item, right? This pattern is not repeating itself, right? So for this cases, we have a statement called if statement. Okay, if is a conditional statement. If whatever the condition that we are prescribing in the if statement, if it is true, then the values will be or the commands that is under the if statement will be executed. Okay, so if the condition is false, then this will not be executed. Okay, it will directly jump on to the next commands. Okay, so that is what it is. And the commands for if statement is if the condition item I of dot y less than spaceship dot y. Okay, and you should always put a colon after the if statement. Okay, so here it is. Okay, when you click on the if statements, it will directly type it. You don't have to worry. If, okay, and then give the condition and finally give colon. Okay, don't forget to put the colon. After the colon, whether it is a for statement or if statement, wherever you keep a colon, the next line has to be again 4 space indented. You should not forget the indents. Okay, hope I'm clear. Okay, so if item of y dot item of I dot y less than spaceship dot y, okay, less than spaceship dot y, Dev dot step 5, and again Dev has to come back. Okay, Rishan has some question, you can put it in the chat, and even Danish. Okay, yes, now let me run. Okay, only if item of I dot y is less than spaceship dot y, then only they will go inside. Okay, Rishan will do all those levels in the future. Okay, so you can keep on watching the webinars. We'll obviously solve basic 3 and 4 completely in this webinar series. Okay, so one by one I will complete the levels, and we'll by the time we reach that level, you can ask your question. Okay. Fine. So we have to use the if statements and complete this level. Okay, so now again there is a difference in the y, because you can see that it is in this direction. Okay, this direction is y-axis, right? Let's first observe the repetition. Okay, spaceship has to take 3 steps every time to collect one item, and there are also 4 items. Okay, so for I in the range of 4, spaceship dot step 3. Okay, step 3, and then if dev dot y less than item of I dot y, dev dot step 4. Okay, so 1 2 3 4. Okay, so you can use like this also, or in some cases if this items are placed in different places, then you again have to declare a variable v is equal to item of I minus dev dot item of I dot y minus dev dot y, calculate the steps, and then put dev dot step b. Okay, in some levels you will get that also in the hackathon. Okay, so let me run. Okay, Aryan, you will have the levels based on the level 2. Okay, level 2 and level 3. Okay, so let's turn on the grid first. Here we have flyers. We have to use D variable in order to complete this. Why? Because you can see all the flyers are placed in different places, right? It is not in a proper step. Like two flyers are in two steps, one is in fourth step. Okay, you can easily calculate the distance and then you can give the commands. Okay, so let me give for I in the range. How many flyers are there? There are 6. So we are using for I in the range 6. Okay, for I in the range 6, D equal to dev dot y minus flyer of I dot y. Okay, so because flyers y axis and dev's y axis are different, right? You can see. So D is equal to dev dot y minus flyer of I dot y. Dev's y axis is higher. Okay, and flyer of I dot step B. Here the flyers has to take the steps. So we are giving flyers of I dot step B. Okay. Okay. Let me run. Okay. Next level. Okay. So here we have a different level where there are a lot of items placed in the both sides of the grids, right? So some flyers are placed in left side and some are in the right side. Okay, so how you can code for this? For I in the range of 5, because we have only 5 items. Okay, so D is equal to item of X minus flyer of X. Okay, it is not dev dot X minus flyer of X. We are going to use item and flyers X axis. Okay, that will give you the difference and the number of steps. Okay, so we are going to put item of I dot X minus flyer of I dot X. Okay, so if at all D is less than or equal to 0, okay, why? Because in some cases the difference will be less than 0, but the number of steps that we have to take has to be greater than 0. Okay, so for that there is a specified condition. Ma'am, why are we using line 7 and line 8 codes? Okay, because we have to put D is equal to minus D. That will give you a positive number. Okay, once that gives you a positive number, you can walk in the forward steps. Okay, you cannot like make the flyer walk in the negative steps. You know the rules of the flyers, that flyer will not move in negative steps or the backward direction. Whatever is the direction that is on the flyer will move in only in that direction. Okay, for that only we are using this line 7 and 8. Okay, so if at all you can give this only when you give this condition, you will get a positive number and you can give the steps flyer of I dot step. Okay, so again I'm going to use for I in the range of 3, range of 5, dev dot step 3, turn right, step 2, turn left. Okay, it will complete this level. Okay, so one have asked me the question why we didn't use nested loops, wanted save the lines. Okay, so yes, you can try to use the nested loops. Okay, so here I have completed the levels by using 2 for loops. You can obviously try to use the nested loops, okay, but there will be some difficulties. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the sessions. Whoever asks have some doubts, you can have ask the questions in the chat box. I'll tell you. Okay, yes, Sriram, thank you. I want, can every one of you turn on your camera so that I can have a screenshot? Thank you. Thank you. Hope no other questions. One question. Yes. Thank you, children. Keep practicing. Okay. All the best for your ICode hackathon. Okay. Thank you. Who's that?